New at 11.
A third body pulled from the Ohio River days after a tragic holiday boating accident.
Wind gusts leaving $250 million of aging bourbon in Bardstown exposed to the elements.
But when you first look at it, I mean, it's, you kind of get taken back a little bit.
An eye in the sky saving lives as history goes up in flames.
Which could, help us with pulling our people back before something tragic happens.
We'll give you a bird's eye view inside the Whiskey Row fire.
Danger and confusion for cyclists in Metro Louisville. What are the laws and do they even matter? Wave 3 News at 11 starts right now.
With breaking news happening now, this is Wave 3 News.
That breaking news at 11, a pedestrian has been killed after a car hit him on Bardstown Road just south of the Gene Snyder. This happened about 9:30 tonight. This happened at Bardstown Road in Ichabod Drive. It's unclear at this point if the man was trying to cross the street or was walking in the road. But the victim is described as an elderly white male. Both lanes will be shut down for the next 3 hours as crews investigate what happened, and we will have more for you on Wave 3 News mobile app and Wave 3 News Sunrise. We thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Shannon Kogan.
And I'm Scott Reynolds. More breaking news right now. Rescue crews pulling another body out of the Ohio River days after a holiday boating accident killed 5. Police tell us tonight the body of a young female was pulled from the water near the Mill Creek Power Plant off Dixie Highway. That was just after 8 tonight. The coroner not confirming whether this is the body of Wee Wee Swinney after the bodies of Denal Swinney and also Joyce Wright were found in the river this week.
Wave 3 News reporter Casey Cunningham joining us live tonight from Mill Creek Power Plant, and family members say they have a vigil planned for later this week. Casey.
That's right, Shannon. Family and friends taking to social media to say the vigil will be held here right next to Joe's Crab Shack on the waterfront at 6 p.m. on Thursday. Now that all 5 people have been accounted for, it will honor their lives and their memories that as they suffered from this deadly accident. I want to pull up some video now because right now we are not aware of the identity of the 2 people that were found today. But the mother of the missing girl posted to Facebook thanking everyone for their efforts in helping to find her daughter. Friends also posting to say they believe the missing woman found earlier today was Joyce Wright. Of course, that is not confirmed yet, but friends taking to social media to say they believe the missing woman found around noon was Joyce. Now, backing up to Saturday, that was when Mark and Donald Swinney were found that night of the accident here at the waterfront, and then Denal Swinney found late last night. Now officials say the body of the girl found was 8 miles down the road near the Mill Creek Power Plant. Of course, during this whole search and rescue efforts, they've been saying that the river conditions making it really tough in this discovery. Live in Louisville, Casey Cunningham, Wave 3 News.
And heavy winds given a historic and heavenly distillery a new look tonight.
The National Weather Service says winds of about 95 miles per hour created some serious damage. This was at the Heaven Hill Distillery in Bardstown. Wave 3 News reporter Connie Leonard joining us with more on what happened at that big bourbon property.
Yeah, guys, well, one roof is gone, another damaged as the National Weather Service blames a microburst that hit 2 warehouses just after 3:30 this afternoon.
I mean, when you first roll upon it and you see your warehouse roof, basically folded up into multiple pieces.
From high above Heaven Hill in Air 3, the images show just how powerful Tuesday's winds actually were at the famed Bardstown Distillery.
It kind of came out of nowhere.
Master distiller Denny Potter says in a matter of minutes, guards were running inside, alerting everyone to the stunning damage. A roof completely taken off the company's O warehouse, and the P warehouse roof was half gone.
Immediately ran outside and started checking out what exactly happened.
Surprising because the storm rolled in and out so fast. Still, it is something that happens occasionally with bourbon warehouses, and at Heaven Hill, they have 51.
Our warehouses are pretty old. The 2 that were damaged tonight were both built in the 70s. So.
Both hold about 19,000 barrels. They had a little damage last year with some wind, but it was nothing like this. A decent distance from the bottling plant, so luckily no one was hurt. As for the bourbon, it appears it's okay too.
Because we have over 1.1 million barrels in storage, but if I had to guess, the majority of it's bourbon, probably with a little bit of rye whiskey or some of our wheated whiskey as well.
We asked Potter about the 2006 storm that left a warehouse at Buffalo Trace without a roof and a wall. It was well documented that the light and breezeway created a surprisingly unique and well-reviewed bourbon there.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's no question without a roof, you're going to get probably some of the best airflow.
Potter laughed. Sunlight and airflow are fine, but here they prefer a roof to keep all the moisture away from their bourbon. And Potter hopes to get inside to inspect the barrels tomorrow. As for the roof repairs, Heaven Hill has experienced contractors, and they should have the work finished in the next couple of weeks. Scott?
Thanks, Connie. It took a lot longer to repair the damage at Heaven Hill back in November of '96. Remember this? A fire that started in an old warehouse spread around the complex. And I was there as some 90,000 barrels went up in flames. And 2 miles of the stream providing water for Heaven Hill turned actually into a river of fire.
And I actually covered that story too at that time, and never forget the smell right in the air.
It
so
was
intense.
Powerful.
Yeah,
and that took
was.
forever to burn out. The damage today in Bardstown was caused by intense wind, but this was not a tornado.
And survey crews from the National Weather Service at the distillery earlier this evening, they say, as Connie mentioned, it was a microburst. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harnett here with how strong those winds were.
Yeah, 95 miles per hour were the estimated wind speeds of that storm, happening just before 3:30. As a matter of fact, on the radar, we narrowed it down to about 328 for that microburst time, and it occurred at that point 1 mile south of Bardstown, right over the distillery, which is on a little bit of an elevation, and you can see the 95 mile per hour winds. This is just a localized column of sinking air. That's what a microburst is, pushes down. This was the radar view at about 3:30 this afternoon. You can see that storm approaching Bardstown. Since then, a few spotty showers have been around. Outside of that, many areas have remained dry. Not the case in southern Jefferson County this hour. We have a few downpours going on from Okolona over to Fairdale, moving toward Fern Creek and Mount Washington as well. As we check out what to expect through the next 24 hours, the flash flood watch remains intact. We still have more rain to deal with, maybe even for your morning commute. We're going to talk much more about the flash flood watch, how much rain we expect, coming up in just a couple minutes.
All right, maybe a few straight dry days coming sometime. Anyway, thanks, Kevin. A dozen firefighters tonight still putting out hot spots at historic Whiskey Row in downtown Louisville. The fire extinguished, but still concerned that walls there could collapse. The fire putting the brakes on the 111 Whiskey Row project, which includes restaurant and apartment space and some offices. That part of West Main still closed because of the danger there.
And the question that everyone wants to know, are those cast iron facades going to be saved? And for that, we turn to Wave 3 News reporter Natalia Martinez out with inspectors today. She joins us live. And how are the structures holding up, Natalia?
Well, the face of Whiskey Row is still in limbo. Inspectors were only able to do a visual inspection today. That means that they weren't able to actually go inside of the building to take a look at how it's doing. They climbed into a bucket that was able to lift them all the way up towards the roof. The fire chief told me that they still need some time to make sure that the fire is completely extinguished before they can allow the inspectors to go into the structures. So we may be looking at about a week to know if the facades will be able to be saved. Meanwhile, the fire chief was trying to catch his breath today. About 12 firefighters were left behind to keep an eye on those hot spots. But I also got a chance to meet the newest member of the firefighting team, which has a serial number and not a badge. Up in the sky, helping fight the fire. This is a view of the Whiskey Row Inferno that no firefighter could ever get.
Which could, help us with pulling our people back before something tragic happens.
This is video taken by Louisville Fire's newest member.
This is the main drone unit, and we also have an additional spare in each kit.
Comes with a GoPro, a thermal, and an infrared camera. Plus, it's got 3 others built in, all pointing in different angles.
Straight ahead, 45, and straight down.
A collapsed roof, spreading flames, and hot spots are all things this drone can keep its eyes on. The batteries last about half an hour. Firefighters track it and its images on this screen.
It's a valuable tool for us to be able to do assessments.
These bad boys cost about $23,000 each, paid for by a grant. They were quickly put to use at the 2nd Street Fire and then
on the 4th of July, searching for survivors of a capsized boat.
This will pick up heat signatures. We use this during the river accident.
There are always 2 firefighters on staff trained to use them. There are some holdbacks. It can't fly in heavy winds, and it's kind of tricky to use, like at Whiskey Row, when it almost landed on the mayor's head.
Well, the first few times flying, it's a little nerve-wracking. I mean,
Still, Major Fredrickson says he only sees more departments dishing out on drones.
you know, further technology helping the fire service, so, you know, we're willing to work with it.
The pilot of the drone that had that close encounter with the mayor was teased about it, the major told me. He says that other departments nearby, including in Indiana, are also looking at the possibility of purchasing drones. Reporting live, Natalia Martinez, Wave 3 News.
Really does give you a different perspective, Natalia. Thanks. And we have much more on the Whiskey Row fire on wave3.com and the Wave 3 News mobile app. Look for the box marked Whiskey Row Blaze right on our homepage.
A life or death decision for Elizabethtown police officers who say they shot a man who came at them with a knife. It happened around 1 this afternoon when a woman told 911 she noticed a man following her. When officers showed up, the man did something investigators say was aggressive, and the officers shot him. The suspect taken to the hospital. Police tell us the man did have a knife. Both officers now on leave, which is standard operating procedure. And it's upsetting news to about 75 children and their families who use the Algonquin Park pool and its playground.
Metro Parks officials say the only outdoor public pool in West Louisville will be closed for at least 7 to 10 days. Sometime Saturday night into Sunday, vandals set off fireworks in the pool area and on the playground too. In the playground alone, $8,000 worth of damage was done. A slide burned off and the pool had to be drained today.
Big. These aren't small bottle rockets. I mean, these are things that go up 40, 50, 60 feet, big booms, then they litter the pool. But unfortunately, they took bottles and they broke them. And the bottles were all over the pool deck, in the swimming pool.
And luckily, the damage did not impact the expensive pump or the filtration system. But now 600,000 gallons of water will have to be put back in that pool. If you know anything about who did this, call police.
Still ahead here, sharing the road or maybe not. Our John Bold takes it to the street to show just how close it comes sometimes between bike and car and tries to clear up confusion on who has the right of way.
I'm Kat Taylor. Coming up later in sports, we'll hear from 2 area youth basketball players who are ranked in the top 20 nationally, and they're 8 years old.
Wind and rain today, more on the way for tomorrow before a drier weekend forecast. Will we warm up by then? The answer in the 7-day breakdown. Straight ahead.
From judges to police officers to motorists to the cyclists themselves, we've noticed a lot of confusion these days over where bikes are actually supposed to be on the roads.
And that's not good with so many more people biking this summer. John Bull gets us some answers and teaches us something at the same time.
It's a question thousands of us have to answer every day. Where am I supposed to ride my bike if there isn't a bike lane? Out here in the middle of the lane? Over on the far right? Off the road on the shoulder? Or up here on the sidewalk? The answer is literally a matter of life or death. Cars are stacked up behind Cherokee Schill. She's used to it. She rides in the middle of the lane and she reads the regulations.
KRS 189.3406A, it says you shall occupy as much of your lane as possible.
Biking 18 miles each way to work near Lexington, she's been stopped a lot. Officer number 1.
He said, you're not doing anything wrong.
Officer number 2.
He pulled out his book. He's like, look, I'm going to show you what the law says. So we started to read the statute together. And I said, you know, and we're going through it. And he stopped halfway through it. And I said, no, it continues. And so we read it all the way through to the end. And he kind of stopped. And he looked at it and he looks at the road.
Other officers took a stand, citing her 7 times for careless driving.
They had it in their mind that I was doing something wrong and they were going to cite me.
Schill went to trial on all 7 at once and even had a leading bike advocate for her lawyer. Still, the judge ruled she should have ridden on the road shoulder instead of on the roadway. She lost. Chips Cronin lost too. lost his life.
Threw him into this girder right here.
Knocked by this van into girder 55 on the 2nd Street Bridge, pedaling home on the right side of the right lane.
Had he been claiming his lane, or had he been on the sidewalk, that he would be alive, but he followed the rules of the road. So he was in the right. Unfortunately, he was dead right.
Kentucky law says a bicyclist is no different from a motorist, has to obey the same traffic rules, can't use the sidewalk because they can surprise drivers, can't ride more than 2 abreast. As a slower moving vehicle, has to drive as closely as practical to the right-hand boundary. And when there's more than 1 lane in each direction, can get out and claim the lane. Problem is,
whoa, that guy almost got me.
There's a big difference between the regulations and reality. There's a lot of confusion and road rage out here on the streets, but this time, I have a camera. Kentucky law says passing cars have to be at least 3 feet away. When I ride as far to the right as I can, vehicles like this miss me by inches. When I get out there and claim my lane, it gets worse. When people pulling trailers go by, they forget about the trailers when they pass and cut me off. On River Road, a key artery under public debate right now, cars and trucks often refuse to move over. When I ask other cyclists what they do, their answers vary.
Claim my lane, you know, because I hate to do that to other people, but you can't let somebody cut you that close. People are crazy. They don't like bicycles, and I definitely try to stay as far right as I can.
This is the reason why the law says to ride as closely as practical to the right. The right side of the road is often an unrideable, potholed mess, or you get slapped by bushes and trees. And road shoulders, where Cherokee Shill was told to ride, often have rumble strips and busted glass. Extra lanes don't help. As far over to the right as I can get, with another lane to my left. Side swipes continue. Again, on the far right of the far right lane, some refuse to move over. This white box truck literally scrapes me.
So it's like we have this complete lack of knowledge of what is actually safe on a public right-of-way.
And while Cherokee Shill was cited 7 times for careless driving between Nicholasville and Lexington, guess how many times Louisville police have ticketed cyclists in the past 7 years? You're looking at it. Once, blowing a stop sign in 2011. John Bull, Wave 3 News.
John was so brave to get that video to demonstrate how close the cars come.
One citation? 2011?
That's surprising. It really is.
And then when
we
they're
have so many cyclists
in the road, a lot of people will pass on the double yellow because the bicyclists might be going 12 or 13 miles an hour, and well, you don't see traffic. So there's other laws. I mean, it just creates a lot of stuff going on out there.
Well, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harnett is joining us right now, and tough to get out there really to do any riding today with all that rain, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely need the rain gear, and not only today, but the next couple of days, it looks like, if you're headed out on the bikes. You'll see across the area even tonight a few downpours south of J-Town, not far from Middletown, looking just north of Fern Creek. This area is moving off to the east. We'll be passing by eastern Jefferson County, moving over into Shelby, Spencer County, seeing some rain. Taylorsville, you're seeing it, even over into parts of northern Nelson County, some light rain. A few other downpours dotting the radar. All in all, it's scattered tonight, and the same story as today for tomorrow. As we look at what to expect, we're going to see these scattered showers and thunderstorms. Where it rains, it comes down heavy and hard, and that's why we have the flash flood watch in place until 8 p.m. tomorrow. Already have a pretty saturated ground. We've picked up over an inch of rain in a number of areas today, and this precipitation shield spreads all the way back out to our west. So how much rain today? 94 hundredths, just under an inch in Louisville. Jasper, Indiana, picking up 1.54 inches of rain. And it's not just the rain. Some of these thunderstorms contain some pretty good winds. Out of Rineyville, Bobby's sending in this. That tree completely toppled over, and you can see other trees that have just been stripped off. Wind speeds of 50 to 60 miles per hour doing damage to trees and roofs alike. Those shingles are bent upward. And you can see, of course, the damage down in Bardstown. 95-mile-per-hour winds with that microburst. That column of air, it just sinks and falls to the ground fast, doing quite a bit of damage as we saw at Heaven Hill Distilleries. Outside around Kentuckiana, a much calmer picture tonight. It's 74 degrees now. We hit that high of 81 today. That was below average. We should be in the upper 80s for this time of year. Not going to be there again tomorrow, it looks like, with temperatures tonight in the 60s and 70s. The bulk of the rain is now south of the Ohio River and pushing off to the east. With that said, more rain to our west gradually moves in throughout the day tomorrow. I think we have some rain in the morning. We'll see a brief break, but then a return to showers and thunderstorms. Some could be heavy at times as we head into tomorrow afternoon and evening once again. The risk of severe weather is marginal, and it's back out to our west. Tonight's low 70. We'll see the scattered downpours, the patchy fog. The flash flood watch continues throughout the day tomorrow. Once again, scattered storms, heavy rain at times. Tomorrow's high 84 degrees. We're back to 84 on Thursday. The rain chance is going down. Temperatures by Saturday and Sunday climb back near 90 degrees. We'll be in the upper 80s flanking the weekend. That means Friday and then again Monday and Tuesday. But rain chances will be with us on those days as well. So perhaps the pick of the 7 days, Saturday and Sunday.
Well timed at least. Thanks.
Right.
All right, Kent's joining us now with the latest in sports.
Yeah, still ahead here at 11. You remember when we used to think that it was crazy that there were recruiting rankings for 8th graders? Well, Damon Bailey has nothing on these two Louisville kids. They're in the national rankings. I'll tell you how old they are next in sports. Fans around here know all about recruiting rankings. But did you know that they are starting younger and younger? At least they are at the website coasttocoastpreps.com.
My name is Jacoby McRoberts, and I'm 8 years old, and I weigh 70 pounds, and I'm 4'8.5".
I'm Cole Edlin. I am 8 years old. I'm 4'5", and I weigh 69 pounds.
They are 8 years old, but this week they both landed a spot in the top 25 national rankings. Yes, they do rank kids who just finished 2nd grade. Jacoby is 11th and Cole 16th.
I was actually surprised.
Why?
Because I think I worked hard, and I think I should have got a better ranking. So I'm trying to get top 10 or top 5.
I was shocked. I was excited.
As the game has evolved, they start young and younger now, trying to detect talent, and I just think it's the wave of time.
James Schuler is the director and co-founder of Go Hard in the Paint, an area youth basketball program with 22 teams and over 370 student athletes. He says these two kids can handle that newfound attention.
Well, we try to teach our athletes just to have humility, to understand the business of basketball, that you could be ranked in 2nd grade, but you must continue to work hard every day, you know, in order to stay there.
Hard work is the constant. It's what has pushed these two onto the national radar.
The rankings are cool, and I think they get a smile over them, but none of them take it to the head and let it blow up their head.
So you're better than Cole, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Where are you going to go to college? Who's recruiting you?
I'm going to go to Kentucky.
Oh, you ready? It's done?
Yeah, I'm going to Kentucky.
Why?
Because that's how I always liked Kentucky. I was born a Kentucky fan. That's all.
You thinking one and done?
Yeah, one and done.
Probably, yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
Give him time. He'll learn more about the process. Great kids and a bright future for those two. Up next, Bats fans get to watch a rehabbing Red. Bats open a 3-game homestand tonight against Indianapolis, and Tony Cingrani on the mound rehabbing a sore shoulder. He struck out 4 Indians in his 3 innings of 2-hit ball. Looking good, and he got some support from AAA All-Star Irving Falou, who scored on the fielder's choice in the first. Bats win the opener of the series 3-2. Same 2 teams tomorrow night at 7:05. Now for Kent's highlight of the night, NBA Summer League action in Orlando. Former guard Russ Smith with a floater in the lane. a game winner in what was sudden death double overtime. Smith and the Grizzlies knock off Peyton Siva and the Magic. So, yeah, sudden death. You don't see that too often in basketball, but you do in NBA Summer League.
That gets it over quick, huh?
I'm feeling a lot of stress after the story about the 8-year-olds.
Yeah, you know, their team just finished 7th in a national tournament in Maryland, and I think that's where they saw a lot of these kids. So,
amazing.
Yeah, Jacoby and Cole.
Talented kids, and parents everywhere are now thinking we're so far behind.
Get in the gym.
Oh, the pressure.
We'll be right back.
Kent, I've seen you get beat before on the court, but getting schooled by 8-year-olds.
We played them 2-on-2. Danny Edlin, Cole's dad. We beat them.
You beat them?
Oh, yeah, we beat the 8-year-olds.
Oh, that's horrible.
How cruel are you?
That's something to brag about. I don't know.
Video tomorrow.
Make them better, aren't you, Kent?
Have a great night.
Now, with Wave3.com and the Wave3 News mobile app, you always have breaking news and breaking weather right where you are. Brought to you by Case Foundation Repair and Waterproofing Systems. Put a local pro on the case.
Ram